Hey folks, welcome to the Do It Yourself Dad channel. Today I'm going to be answering the question, do solar pool covers work? Yes, they do. Video's over. Well, it's not exactly that easy. They do work. There are some pros and cons. So actually in this video, we're going to be going over the pros and cons of solar pool covers. Do they work and are they right for you? So don't go ahead and just go out and buy one because it might not be right for your situation. So first I'm going to show you the pros of a solar pool cover. Then we're going to talk about the cons of a solar pool cover. And this is coming from my experience with my 7,000 gallon above ground pool as well as the in-ground pool that I grew up with. So we're now on year 6 of our above ground pool, and every year I've put on a pool cover. And that's because growing up I always had a pool cover. This year I just replaced our pool cover with a new one because these things do not last forever. But let's talk about the pros and the reasons why I use a pool cover. Now the first and the biggest reason I use a pool cover is because this pool does not have a hot water heater on it. So if I want the water higher than air temperature, this is the only way to do it. Now right now, I just put it on last night and the pool is sitting at 61 degrees. And I will get a couple degrees a day out of this thing, even if the air temperature outside is only in the mid 70s. I can bring this thing up about 10 degrees to 15 degrees a week, but the great thing is it'll hold it there. So it doesn't lose temperature overnight because this thing makes an insulation layer. You can see there's little bubbles. This is just like that packing material that they use, just a lot thicker. So bubbles, air, is actually a great insulator. So this actually does keep the heat in the pool at night. I won't lose heat at night with this thing on, or very little. Now what I have noticed is that if I take it off, I'll actually lose 5 to 6 degrees in one night in this pool. And part of that's because it is an above ground pool and it's not very big, so the temperature can drop really fast if I don't put the cover on. The second reason I like to use these is because we live in Southern California and we are always in some form of a drought. And these things prevent evaporation because there's not a lot of water to air contact with the pool cover on. I can leave this cover on, go away for a week on vacation, come back, and my water level really hasn't changed. But if I leave the cover off this thing when it's very hot, we're in the, mild desert out here, when it's really hot out, I can lose an inch of water a day without the cover on. So I'm dumping a lot of water in it. Now on top of that, as the water evaporates, all the minerals and deposits and whatnot from the water are staying in there. So the more water evaporates, the more you add, the faster you get hard water in your pool, which makes it harder to clean. So it's saving water, but it's also saving me time and money on the cleaning efforts. And the third reason why I love my cover is it saves me time and money on chemicals. Because I don't have a lot of water to air transfer, I don't lose chlorine as quickly, and the pool tends to stay a little bit more balanced. Now, chlorine does break down with UV. That's why you put that conditioner in the water when you set your pool up. So you are still gonna lose some, but this does form a little bit of a UV barrier and an air to water barrier, so you're not losing chemicals nearly as fast. If I leave my cover on, I usually don't have to deal with my chemicals except for maybe once a week I go out and check them and I keep the float going. So it does keep the pool a little bit more stable and it makes the chemicals a lot easier to deal with. So those are the positives and all sounds great. Let's go buy a cover. But there are some negatives to a cover too. So let's talk about those. The first is you need sunlight. So if you live in an area where you don't get a lot of sun, maybe you're up in Seattle, the Pacific Northwest, or maybe your pool is underneath the shade of a tree, you're not going to get that great effect from the sun hitting the pool and heating your pool up. You are still going to get the insulation at night, so there is that positive. The next negative to a pool cover is they're big and you got to store them somewhere. So first is they're kind of a pain to take off. We have ours cut in 2 sections so you can roll the thing up when you're taking it off the pool. At the pool that I grew up with, it was actually cut into 4 sections because the size of the pool was so big. So it's usually a 2-person operation to take this on and off the pool. We usually take it off the pool when we're getting ready to swim and we throw it back on before we go to bed at night so we don't lose temperature at night. But the other thing is you do need to find a place to store it. When it's not on the pool, you don't want to put it in the sun. When it's on the pool, the water keeps the cover cool. It's never going to get warmer than the cover. But if I took the thing off and I put it over there next to my house, it's going to get blasted with the sun. So I have to find a shady spot like here or around the back of the pool to store this thing. So that might be an issue for you. We've also at times taken this thing, taken it off, and then thrown a white tarp over it when it's not in use. If it gets blasted by the sun and gets heated up too much, these things do start breaking down over time, and then you have to replace your pool cover kind of prematurely, and you don't want that. The other issue that I've heard, and I'm not a pool guy, so I can't really speak to this. I mean, I don't install pools professionally, is that I guess older plaster pools have a problem with the cover and the gas is building up underneath the cover. So you do want to make sure that a solar cover is right for your pool and it is something that won't damage the plaster of your pool. This is an above ground pool, so I don't have that problem, but check and make sure before you buy one that it won't damage your pool. And the third negative is that these don't last forever. You do have to replace them. And as they start getting old, the little bubbles, the little tops will start popping off and you'll find them in your pool filter, which is kind of a bummer to clean up. But they don't last forever. The cheap ones, the thin ones, you'll get about 1 season out of, but I like my pool covers like I like my metal. So these ones, if you get the extra heavy ones, I've noticed I get 2, and sometimes I've managed to get a 3rd season out of them. My last cover I got 3 seasons out of, and I just got this one. I'm hoping to get 3 out of this ones, but they don't last forever. You do have to replace them, and when you get them, they usually come in generic sizes, so you will have to cut it to fit your pool. So if you throw out your old cover, don't throw it out till you buy your new one. You can use it as a template. Now I've got a link down in the description for this kind of cover. You can check that out, but I've also got a link for a solar pool heater that I made out of some stuff you may have around the house and a pump that does not require this. So if all this seems like a little bit too much of a hassle, or you want to get a little extra heat in your pool, I do have a link for how you can DIY one for 25 to 50 bucks, depending upon what you got laying around your house. I've got that link down in the description below as well. So if this video helped you out at all, give me a great big thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your experience has been with pool covers. Maybe you have some other advice for our other viewers and you all can help each other out down in the comments. And of course, thanks for watching. Every time I film outside, plane has to go overhead. And then I gotta wait, or my audio sounds like this.